Good afternoon. It is Monday, May 23rd at 4:22 p.m. I'd like to call to order the May 23rd meeting of the Norwalk Police Commission. We have a quorum with Commissioner Tony Lopez and Commissioner Frank Collier Clemens and Mayor Rilling. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of April 18th, 2022. Do I have a motion? Commissioner Collier Clemens on mute says yes.
So moved.
Item has been moved. Do we have any corrections, omissions, or deletions? Seeing none. All in favor of the minutes as submitted?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item is the public comment. Do we have anybody who is waiting to address the police commission? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Okay. So now the first item on the agenda is patrol staffing operations. Deputy Chief Walsh.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Police Commission. For end of April 2022, there was 165 sworn personnel. That leaves 16 vacancies. In the month of April, there was 138 and a half sick days used, 183 workman's comp days used by sworn personnel. 8 officers are currently on long-term workman's comp. Detective Bureau activity for April 2022, they opened up 30 cases. There's 3 residential burglaries, 3 burglaries of motor vehicles, 3 larceny investigations. There's 2 shooting investigations with no victims, 3 death investigations, 0 overdose, and 2 sexual assault investigations. They arrested 1 individual on carrying a pistol without a permit on ongoing assault investigation. They completed several background investigations and initiated 3 more. And detectives are busy serving pro and FTA warrants. Special services activity for April 2022. They also opened up 30 cases. They made 20 felony arrests, 1 misdemeanor arrest, 21 warrants, and 3 search warrants. They participated in Operation Penalty Box, which is a statewide warrant apprehension. They made 4 felony FTA arrests, which is a program through probation and parole, highlighting some violent people who were wanted on probation, parole, and FTA warrants. U.S. Marshal Task Force Officer David Geismer arrested a fugitive wanted by Special Victims Unit for sexual assault first degree. He was located in New York City. Officer Geismer continues to do excellent work. And they also issued 6 temporary liquor investigation applications. Special Victims Unit activity, they opened up 58 cases. They remain very busy. They made 4 felony arrests, 2 misdemeanor arrests, 6 warrants, and they executed 0 search warrants. They investigated a parent security guard disturbance at Kendall Elementary. They have 1 ongoing sexual assault investigation. They investigated at West Rocks Middle School, students consuming alcohol, and investigated suspicious subjects whom approached students walking through Brian McMahon High School. And since the issuance of this report, that person has been identified and arrest warrant is pending. Sergeant Orr updated us last week. Traffic unit activity in April, there's 205 stops, 63 citations. Misdemeanor arrests was 3, written warnings 110. They issued 26 verbal warnings. Some of the selected enforcement locations were Wilson and Crest, Witch and Hunt, Strawberry Hill, Fox Run, Carlin and Dry Hill, and Beach Road. Those are the main spots for April, mostly out of citizens' complaints. Community policing, community services, they participated in the Mayor's and Clean Initiative. Car seat event, they installed 43 seats. Autism awareness, and they also conducted extra security for Passover. Total criminal arrests for April 2022 was 175. Patrol Division calls for service, April, 4,359.
Just a question, how do you see an increase in calls for service across the board, or is it pretty much stable with pre-COVID?
I went back to 2018 and 2019 prior to COVID. We're actually below calls for service.
We're below that.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Very good. And on the, could you update us on, again, I lost track of the number, over the past month and a half, how many new police officers have we hired?
Sue, I've lost track myself. I don't have that with me. I think, Sue, we have so many right now currently.
Deputy Chief Zecca?
So we currently have five started the May Police Academy in Milford. We have 5 that will go to the June Academy in Meriden. We hired 3 comparative, so out-of-state certified officers. And then we will be hiring, you voted on, but have not actually started yet, 4 lateral certified Connecticut certified officers. That will
Total
start at the beginning
13,
of
right?
June.
That's a total of 13, 5, 5, and 3,
And no, 17.
17.
17.
Yeah,
17.
17, it looks like.
And we have 2 in the academy that started in January.
Yes, and that are still there from January.
So that's
So-
19.
19.
We have multiple that we know are leaving, one in July, a couple in August, and so we still are pushing forward to try to, we're currently doing interviews for candidates for the September Academy.
Has
Since
it-
January
any-
1, it looks like we've hired 19.
Yes.
has-
Now, the 2 for the January Academy, I think might have gotten hired in December.
Okay.
And Mayor, I failed to mention the selective enforcement report. For April, we issued 374 infractions. There was the click it or ticket grant, I should say the distracted driving grant. for
I
cell
think
phones.
Commissioner Lopez had a question.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Go right ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, there was 374 infractions issued for the month of April. 193 of them were for cell phone usage during the distracted driving grant initiative that we participated in. 16 for speeding, 46 for stop sign, 9 for control signal, 24 for no license, 5 for suspended license, 7 for no insurance, and like I said, 193 for cell phone violations.
If I could insert something here. I know we talk about it all the time and sometimes in a cavalier way, but the noises from some of the motorcycles and other cars that have been adjusted to have these loud noises and sounds. I'm starting to get a lot of reports from some of the restaurants on Washington Street, as well as Seaview Avenue, where it seems like cars take an opportunity to speed down Seaview Avenue coming from First Street down towards South Norwalk and vice versa. And I've seen a lot of it myself. It seems to be that there's a lot of, and I know, believe me, I know that the traffic division is working hard, but I also know that you're low on personnel. So obviously you have to prioritize, but I've seen an increase in people just totally disregarding red lights. And like I said, the noise complaints. So just wanted to throw that out there because if you're down on Washington Street and you're trying to enjoy a meal and sitting outside and the motorcycles, if they come by and just cruise down, that's fine. But what they tend to do is they tend to rev their engines, perhaps to be noticed. And it's just very, very disrupting. And some of the restaurants down there are not pleased about it.
Understood.
Yeah, they also use Martin Luther King Boulevard south of Low Street because it has that echo effect, and it's very annoying.
Yeah, I don't know if that's possible at some point. And obviously don't take this as a criticism because I know it's very difficult to enforce that. But at one point, our famous noise enforcement officer, Mike Bauer, he left. I don't know if perhaps somebody could be specially trained or assigned to kind of look at that and maybe try to help out in any way. And I don't know what other communities do, but I'm sure that we're not the only ones with that problem.
And it's going to get worse this summer.
Yeah, Beach Road is bad too. But anyway, Jim, you're still doing a good job. The patrol division is doing a really, really good job, believe me. But
I'll go out there myself, sir.
So what, help me to understand is we're talking about noise pollution, and I'm just merely just trying to understand how do we reduce it? What's under what code is there to address that, or law that we can enforce that I don't know about?
Well, there's an unnecessary noise with a motor vehicle.
Okay.
And motorcycles are supposed to have baffles in their muffler. And
Okay.
some of them take them out. I know they don't sell them like that because they can't, but they remove them so that it would make a lot of noise. And I believe Officer Bauer used to take his nightstick, if you don't have, maybe PR-24, I know they don't have those anymore, but he used to put it into the muffler to see if the baffles were there. And you can give them I think the most effective way was they gave them a defective vehicle or defective muffler warning, and they then had to go and have an inspection done, and they had to go someplace like Weathersfield or Waterbury to have it done, and that was quite an incentive. But those are that's what I remember. Jim, I don't know if you have any update.
No,
on that.
you're absolutely right. It's a lot of the motorcycles, they drop it out into neutral, and then they rub the engines.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing with the smaller cars, and those
Yeah,
are all
they-
altered mufflers.
Yeah.
And they're making excessive noise. So there is an infraction for altering your muffler to make excessive noise, and then there's a separate infraction for just making excessive noise.
Good to know. Appreciate that. Thank you.
While we're on the subject, and this I definitely don't know, and don't know if we need to bring it to the attention of the state legislature. Is there any violation when on the motorcycles they're riding down, they lift up the front tire and they ride down the road on the rear tire?
That could be considered reckless operation.
Can it?
Yes,
Okay.
What did you
Yeah.
call it?
reckless operation.
Okay. Yeah. So I know it's tough to catch them too, because they certainly don't do it when an officer's around.
And they're going to be difficult to stop. They probably won't stop.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So
All right.
if I may, if I can quickly go back just a moment, I did have one question with regards to staffing and the training and the new hires. My only question was, has it had any impact, Lieutenant Sacco, Lieutenant Walsh, on, on operations, on administration, anything that we should know about? The impact,
Commissioner,
my first impact.
so far, all the people that we have hired have not they're not on the road alone yet, so they're not patrolling on their own. They're still in training. So everyone we have hired so far this year has not had any impact yet.
Right, so I'm talking about the police department. Has it had an adverse impact on operations, patrolling, or anything of the sort? Because we're short. We're
I
short
think
staffed, correct?
Yeah, I think we've been just ordering people in, and the younger officers seem to get always ordered in, and they're the ones that get tired and fatigued. They get ordered in by seniority, or reverse seniority, actually.
All right, so
Well,
there's been more overtime on that issue, and it leads to fatigue, which is another issue altogether. Okay.
And right now, it's not just the younger officers. It's basically anybody they can get a hold of. This past weekend was brutal for the patrol division to get staffing. And then we're
Wow.
trying to cover all these extra events and races and festivals and all the extra work. And it's becoming almost untenable, to be honest with you.
Wow,
We're
that's what I was
looking-
getting at.
We're looking at other ways to try to do anything possible to get another couple bodies on the street or some other system of ordering in so that it's tough right now for the supervisors and patrol.
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that.
And it's not just us. We have promotional testing going on. The assessment centers, I was speaking to several other chiefs that are here doing the assessment center, and they're facing the same thing. They're all in the same in the same boat. Everybody has a huge staffing issue, which is leading to excessive sick time because people are getting ordered for double, so then they're calling out sick. And that leads to, and it's just a vicious cycle, and it's
Sure. Yeah,
throughout,
fatigue.
big departments, small departments.
And when the training is all said and done, that we get the new, new hires on and so forth, we're looking at what, August, September?
No, they take from the time they're hired to the time they're on the road, probably almost a year. They have 27 weeks in the academy and then 12 more weeks of field training, at least, if everything goes well. It's a long process. The lateral officers, those are going to be a lot quicker. Those just need field training and to get indoctrinated here. That's a matter of maybe a month and a half, 2 months. The comparatives will take a little longer because they need some training to be done to get up to Connecticut standard, but they'll be fairly quick. But for the entry level that go to the academy, it's a long way before they make any impact.
Any other questions? Okay, Deputy Chief Walsh, if you want to continue.
I'm all set, sir.
Okay, do we have any other questions for Deputy Chief Walsh relative to activity and enforcement and so forth? Okay, that will bring us to the April training report. Deputy Chief Zecca.
So for April, we continued with annual firearms and low light shooting training. The monthly training that was completed was for our emergency services team, the scuba team, the crisis negotiation team, and the K-9 unit. For review credit training, obviously, we have a third of the department in their review credit cycle. So there were classes on housing matters, police and the law, gangs, narcotics and drugs, weapons and permits, the holding facility in terms of the operation there and the facilities, autism awareness, de-escalation training, and then recertification in NCIC and CGIS. We had 2 officers attend an instructor class for firearms so that they can complement our already certified firearms instructors. And then we had 2 of our cadet advisors attend a leadership training related to the cadet program. And we had 3 officers attend a more extensive DUI training class. And that pretty much wraps up April.
Looks like a nice round curriculum. Any questions for Deputy Chief Zecca?
I have none.
No questions.
Moving right along, the next item on the agenda is tuition reimbursement for Lieutenant Joe Dinho. Chief?
Yep, standard request. He's going for his associate's degree in criminal justice. This class was approved in September of 17, actually. And he's requesting reimbursement, and he has the necessary documentation with it. 3/17/25.
Any questions from the commission or comments?
I have none.
Commissioner Collier Clemens?
No questions.
Next,
Wow.
I'm sorry.
I move approval.
Move approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Next is the tuition reimbursement for Sergeant Sophia Gallino. Do I have a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Collier Clemens. Chief?
Yep, similar request. She's going for her master's in master's in social work. She provided the documentation. The class was pre-approved in January, and she's requesting half of the tuition, $1323.74.
Notice that she's carrying a GPA of Well, it looks like 4.0, so that's good. Any questions from the commission?
What is the requirement for the grade? Or is there?
You mean a minimum to qualify for reimbursement?
Uh-huh.
I believe it's a C.
Yeah, they say, I think it's listed average or better,
Yeah, something like that. I
yeah,
think we've always used a C.
and average leaves a lot for interpretation, I guess. I don't know.
I
Right, that's what I
average-
was.
I
was
think average
wondering.
is C.
Yeah, but I don't think we've ever had an issue with anybody not getting that. Our officers are usually getting Bs and As.
Yeah, very rarely is that, yeah.
Okay.
Any further discussion or questions?
I like to make a motion to approve the reimbursement to Sergeant Gallino for $1,323.74.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item on the agenda is tuition reimbursement for Officer Danielle Vasquez. Do I have a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Collier Clemens. Chief?
This is for Officer Vasquez. He's pursuing his master's in public administration. And his class was approved in January. He has all the documentation. He's requesting the 50% reimbursement for 1505.
Hey, another A, I see. And let's see, any further discussion or questions from the commission? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next one is we have course approval for Capstone, probably for his master's in public administration. Chief?
Yeah, this is for Officer Vasquez for his master's in public administration. Requesting approval for his capstone course, which finishes his master's degree.
And that's a mandatory course, am I correct?
Yes,
Can I have a motion to move that forward?
So move.
I move.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Tony Lopez. Any questions or further discussion on this request?
I have none.
None.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next, we have a drop request from Sergeant Lee Young, and we have documentation by Mickey Dosimo, the administrative manager. Do I have a motion for discussion?
So move.
Okay, any discussion or comments or questions? Chief?
yeah, a regular request. This is beginning his drop August 1st of this year, ending July 30, 2027.
Yeah, I see no questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't have any paperwork relative to the next item, which is a drop request date correction for Detective Courtney Downer. I don't have any
This-
paperwork on that. Is there paperwork?
No, this was approved already by the commission. However, after when it was being processed by administration upstairs or downstairs here, they realized that the date that was on the form was slightly off. It was a typo. The correct date that he's leaving is 12/31/26. So it's just to technically correct the date for the minutes from the previous meeting. The meeting was, I think, the January meeting of this year.
Do I have a motion for discussion?
I so move.
Okay. Any further discussion or comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Chief?
Yep.
The complimentary letters.
Yep, the first letter is from a New York City resident. Unfortunately, his brother hadn't been heard from, and police were sent to try to do a welfare check. And unfortunately, they found him deceased. But the family sent, as you see, a nice letter commending the officers on how they handled the situation and how they dealt with the family. And they were very impressed and thankful, even though they were obviously saddened to lose their family member.
Mm.
The second is a complimentary letter to regarding our animal control supervisor, Bob Sirico. If you recall, there was a Facebook and social media post. There was a child visiting Norwalk. They were visiting the Maritime Center and among other places. And they were bitten. The child was bitten by a dog, but they couldn't identify the dog, and they were concerned the dog as to whether the dog had proper rabies vaccines, et cetera. And ACO Sirico did a phenomenal job. He ended up locating the dog through extensive investigation, the social media posts, the contact with veterinarians, and was able to track down the dog, determine the dog was vaccinated properly, so there was no concerns. The owner of the dog was very cooperative. Apparently, if I recall, he didn't realize the dog had even bitten the girl. So the family sent a nice email. They were from New York,
Wow, you know,
complimenting Bob.
We know how difficult it is to track down a person. Tracking down
Bob's
a dog
amazing.
is even more
He always
difficult.
goes above and beyond, no matter what it is.
Yep. And the one who wrote the letter is a detective in Irvington, New York.
I'm not sure that what department, but yeah, there's a police officer.
Wow.
Wow.
And then the next one is from, this is regarding a child, infant, who had fallen, they believed a fractured skull. They were bringing her to the hospital. She began becoming more seriously injured. They flagged down an officer, and the officer assisted them in getting them to the hospital. They were able to get the child transferred to Yale, and thankfully the child is 100% healthy, but they wanted to thank the officer. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to track down who the officer was, but I wanted to bring it to your attention that they wanted to let us know. They also provided a picture of their child who's 13 months old.
Wow. Now look at the picture of her. She's a cutie. Okay, I believe that's the agenda for this particular meeting. The next meeting is June 22nd, 2022 at 4:15 p.m. The time now is 4:49, and do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Moved by Commissioner Lopez to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 4:49. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Have a great week.